Volunteers was to travel to Gracias a Dios and refurbish the marker there. They have done so at 2 other border markers, so this was the last. They got to their location early that morning and did what they had to do, including installing a bronze plaque to proudly claim Belizean territory. So where did it all go wrong? Expedition leader Giovanni de la Fuente says it was when they were heading back home that evening.
And upon exiting the Sarstone River, the Guatemalan military approached our boat ordered us to stop, threw a rope over our boat and embarked to tow us out about half mile out to sea where they had a large Coast Guard vessel that was awaiting us. Due to the size of the waves and the weather, they could not make a transfer. So we steamed on our own power to Livingston, and we spent the night in Livingston. This morning we had some negotiations with the commandant of Livingston, and we were released.
That's the story in a nutshell. There were no charges and the captain was released without penalty. That captain, Guillermo Memo Avila, only had to sign a document with 6 points, the main one being that the boat had entered Guatemalan waters early that morning by accident, a distance of 100 yards and a time of approximately 10 minutes.
He signed off on that paper because it's the truth. On our way up the river, there are many tributaries and creeks, and he accidentally took one of these creeks for approximately 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes, and we covered a distance of approximately 100 yards. And then we noticed we were on the wrong road and we turned back. So that is the truth. And so we agreed that he should sign off on that truth, and then we departed from Livingston.
Just to clarify something, you all are saying that the captain, the reason why you all were detained is because for 5 minutes the captain went up a creek earlier in the day. But when you all were taken by the Guatemalan military, you all were in Belizean waters?
Good point. Let me tell you. The report says that 7 o'clock in the morning, we accidentally entered a creek for 5 minutes and traversed 100 yards. We were detained at approximately 5 o'clock in the evening. So we accidentally entered that creek in the morning. 8, 9 hours afterwards, while we were exiting the Sarstone River, we were just at the mouth of the Sarstone River. The Guatemalan military pulled up on us, took over the vessel.
De La Fuente says that there were moments of real danger on the trip, including when the vessel was seized in very rough seas.
If any member was exposed to any danger, it was caused by the Guatemalan military that took over our vessel and insisted in high seas that we were to be towed to the Coast Guard vessel that they had parked a half mile off the coast. It was during their towing that we were being slammed, water in the boat, that the captain Memo insisted that if we were to be towed, we would sink. And he insisted that they remove the tow rope and that we would steam to the vessel under our own power. At that point, 2 more Guatemalan military jumped into the boat. They took off the rope and instructed him to steam to the vessel. When we got to the vessel, it was almost a collision. And they realized that in these high seas, you cannot make a successful transfer.
Aboard the Dore, members of the expedition included children, young students, women, and elderly persons who signed on to the trek to show their patriotism. They did that, but perhaps got more than they bargained for.
It was very rough because we didn't thought that would happen because they escorted us way down to where we wanted to go, and they waited for us and they brought us back. And it only happened that when we arrived to the mouth of the river that they just come beside and said that they have to detain the boat. And that is where everything just went to a different direction. And they took us way down to Livingston. And it was very rough. It was a very rough experience.
As a Belizean, I was very angry and mad because they were detaining us in our Belizean waters. And we were there marking our territory, our prime land. That's ours, that's mine as a Belizean. And I simply, my words can't explain how I felt. I was angry, I was upset, I was mad outraged at something that was uncalled for. I mean, that's our water, that's our land. They have no reason to be shadowing us to our land, on our waters.
According to De La Fuente, it is difficult to rate the government's response to them being detained. In fact, he says he cannot comment on that response because as far as he's concerned, there was no response. Mike Rodon for News 5.